I'm here talking to Neil today. And Neil, when's our next gun auction?
Our next one is March 15th and 16th.
Of
March.
March. Okay, March 15th and 16th. Next gun auction. We're in his office right now. What a fun office, huh? Having all this stuff surrounding you. That's if you like guns. Now, if you don't, you're probably not watching our podcast anyway. So show me some highlights. Let's show off here a little bit. What do you got coming up?
Absolutely. I've got some beautiful toys. This is a Winchester Diamond series shotgun. It's got the 12 gauge barrels, 20, 28, and 410. All interchangeable. Deluxe wood. Beautiful gun.
And this is made by who?
Winchester, yeah.
Wow. And I see custom case, everything.
It's the original factory case.
Wow. Now, what's a gun like this worth?
It could be $2,500 or so.
That's all? That seems like a bargain for what it is.
Yeah.
Wow. That's great. Okay. So we've got the diamond grade Winchester. What else you got here?
I find this one really interesting. It's an Arasaka Type 38 with battle damage on it.
Now, wait a second. To me, this looks like a junk Arasaka. I mean, this
has got a story.
It's really beat. Come on.
It comes with a story. Shrapnel came through here, busted the sight, and tore off half the stock right there. Then you have a 30 caliber bullet hole that our GI shot 30 cals. This is a Japanese rifle. So one of our bullets came through his rifle.
So now this is interesting because, my first initial thought is it's a piece of junk. It's beat. But when you think about that, any GI during World War II would have been looking for the best examples. How much stuff really came back looking like this?
Not much.
Unless a GI was really involved in this battle, why would he even bring this home? I mean,
could very well be. And this was a recovery because it still has the mum on it.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Any of the ones that pretty much came home as souvenirs have the mum ground off of them. So this is a real GI battlefield bring home.
Yeah.
What a great piece.
It's really cool.
That's interesting. I first look at it as junk, and you turn it into treasure. Okay.
Do you think that the stock then saved the guy's life? Because
that's
the bullet coming right.
It's possible. His face is, if you think about it, his face is right here.
Wow.
And it came right in through there.
And you know what? Even though at the time it was our enemy, we hope it did save his life because, kind of like Trump today, we don't want to see anybody dying in war.
No, we don't.
Even though we don't want to see anybody dying in war.
No, we don't.
Even though we're dealing in weapons and weapons of war, so to speak. Man, wouldn't it be nice if this never happened anymore? That we could put an end to it. But okay, next we've got a hunting grade gun here. What?
This is a 1924 L.C. Smith monogram. If you can get a close up of the wood, the engraving is gorgeous. This is one of the elite top shotguns that L.C. Smith put out. To give you an idea of how unique it is, they made these from 1892 to 1945. Out of those years, a total of 300 monograms were made. Only 2 of them were 12 gauge. And you start adding in other options. This is really one of one.
Wow.
And in this kind of condition.
Really, one of one. Now, I'm looking right here, just as you turn this down. What is all this? It looks like that's all done in gold. The name is actually inlaid in gold on the trigger guard. That's pretty neat.
It's originally made for him, and he owned a shipping company out in, I think it was Oregon.
And again, anybody watching this podcast are probably gun collectors anyway, so you know the quality of L.C. Smith. So great piece. And next, I see a little carbine here coming up. Why are we talking about that today? We see a lot of carbines go through this.
We really do. This is probably one of the rarest.
Really?
This is
Neil, come on.
This is an Unquality. That's the name of it. Unquality. Is a
That's the name of the gun.
Right.
Unquality. UN-quality.
Right. It was a joint effort between Union Signal and Switch and Quality Hardware Manufacturing. They had both put their names on it, and unfortunately, it came up with the name Unquality. The GIs, when they were issued these, wanted to return them right away because of the name of it. They thought it was bad mojo.
Yeah, imagine that.
So,
I mean, that's just
a lot of them were
just
destroyed because of that, because nobody wanted them, and this is one of the survivors.
Well, that's interesting, because that's the World War II version of, in Vietnam, guns were being made by Mattel.
Right.
And
toy guns.
And guys were saying, wait a minute, we don't want this. We don't want to be out here with toys in our hands. I mean, really, that was an uproar for a while.
They looked like toys. They were plastic.
Well, they were made of plastic instead of wooden stocks. Right, yeah. Okay, and now...
This is a 1928 commercial Colt 1911 sock drawer queen is what I call them. It's like somebody bought the gun, stuck in their sock drawer, and left it. It's incredible quality.
And what's the year on this?
1928.
1928. So again, in between wars.
Right.
So it's
almost 100 years old, and it looks better than half the new ones now.
Right, but now let me ask you that. I mean, are collectors more apt to go after World War I or World War II, or, I mean, to any of the years? I mean, are we looking at makers here? What makes this gun one that you want to point out to us? Just the quality of the gun?
The quality of the gun, the age of the gun. As far as collecting, I would say, it's my personal opinion, I would rather go after a World War I gun in GIs because there's so few of them compared to World War II.
Uh-huh.
This is actually a commercial one. So this was bought by a civilian right from Colt.
Yeah.
And honestly, there wasn't a lot at that time. Lower quantities.
It's so funny because I know a lot of these pistols were bought commercially and sent to relatives overseas during the war. I mean, that happened to my brother's father-in-law. His father actually sent him overseas a 45 that he literally bought at the hardware store and sent him overseas. So his son had this gun during World War II.
You know what? That still happens. When I was in the retail end of firearms, I had a lot of fathers coming in buying guns to send to their boys in the sandbox.
Wow.
And it was high quality, like Wilson Combats and stuff like that. 1911s that they sent over. So
pretty neat. So again, this gun auction coming up
March 15th.
March 15th. So go to DonleyAuctions.com and Donley, Donley. So many people are still getting it wrong. They're putting double N's and double L's in there. Donley, auctionswithans.com. You see it on the screen right now. And go to the auction because it's up online. You can bid online. You can bid right from your computer at home, or viewing is the Friday before, right?
Correct.
So all day Friday, and what would that date be? Do the math.
14th. Friday the 14th.
Because I can't. I don't even remember the date of the auction. Okay, so Friday the 14th. We start at noon. You go to what, about 7 o'clock?
Yeah, right about that.
So if you want to see the guns before you actually bid on them, you can do that. But in the meantime, too, if you have questions about any of the guns, call our number. She'll put it on the screen right now and ask for Neil.
Yeah, please.
That's what Neil's here for, is to not only does he describe these guns for us and everything, but he's here for you. To tell you, you can get him on the phone. He can answer any little question or large question for that matter.
That's true.
But any question about the guns, okay? And again, that's what he's here for, specializing in firearms. We're happy to have you, Neil. And with that, for now, I'm Randy.
And I'm Neil.
And we'll see you at the auction.